adventure. I've come up to Yamanashi Prefecture. Well, it's right on the border, Yamanashi Prefecture, Nagano Prefecture here in Japan, in search for a waterfall. I've had my eye on for quite a while. It looks pretty nice. The only problem is we've had a lot of rain. We've had a lot of rain, and the water is looking pretty brown right now. I checked the area out last night, just along the river here, and the water looked clear. But since all this rainfall and the way Japan's geography is, it's not uncommon to have landslides, steep terrain, not very much topsoil. So a lot of rain, and it's really fine soil, will cause a lot of landslides in the area, and they'll put warnings out. And the water is really brown. That's a telltale sign that there's obviously mud in the water somewhere, dirt. So somewhere maybe up higher than the waterfall. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's between me and the waterfall, and the water's still fairly clear, but we should have some good water runoff. Hopefully it's not too much, but I mean, it's all trial and error with this. But if anything, it'll be an opportunity to see this waterfall and to decide whether or not I want to come back in the fall, because most of the summer stuff I do, I'm getting out and I'm kind of researching for places in the fall, because Japan's fall is unbelievable. And if I can have a good waterfall scene with some autumn colors, I mean, come on, really? Okay, let me get up this road, or this trail, whatever you want to call it, and see if I can't find this and avoid bears, because there are a lot of bears in this area. So I've got bear spray on me. I prefer not to see them. I'm by myself. I'm armed with the tripod and some bear spray, so you know. All right, let's get after it. I gotta say, I didn't expect this, but this behind me, this huge rock face cliff. I'm right next to the waterfall, so I have to talk a little bit louder, but it's just fascinating. I don't know if this is sandstone or what, but I'll show you some of this in a little bit. But it's got these reddish green, almost like a magenta color mixed in with it. You can see here you got this harsh yellow. Look, honestly, it's pretty ominous. Part of this structure here, it's like the slab is kind of broken, so at some point someday down the road, that'll fall off. But it is just unbelievable. You got some trees up here that are cliff hanging. Let me get up there. I mean, it is unreal. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get in and shoot the waterfall for a little bit, and then I'm gonna wait and come back to this, because the waterfall is just down over my shoulder here. And I'm gonna come back, take a look at this, and look at some light, and maybe do some abstract, or get these smaller trees in here to see if some of that green contrasts well with the wall or not. So we'll come back. I'm definitely going to check this out. It's fascinating. I think with a little bit of light in here, it'll transform this. So it'll be interesting to see. All right, let me get down to the waterfall. Well, this is proven to be quite difficult. It's unfortunate the water is really brown down here in the base of it. I mean, the waterfall looks, it's beautiful. But right down here in the base, it's this muddy sediment. It doesn't look good, and especially if you're going to try to use a foreground. And unfortunately, the terrain around here is, in most cases in Japan, it's quite steep at these larger waterfalls. you're kind of limited on where you can go. So it proves to be quite difficult to try to find some kind of composition that's unique to here that hadn't already been shot. And I've already taken one image up close to just your standard kind of wide shot of the waterfall. I didn't vlog it though. I'm gonna continue to search and look. I'm not gonna give up. Maybe with some more light in here. The light's not too bad right now. It's kind of soft. Sun's rising back over here, so I'm a little worried that if I don't act too fast, I could get direct sunlight on the water itself, and then that's no good. But the flow is awesome. It's definitely a place I'm going to come back to because it's quite difficult to get to, actually. So I don't think there's a lot of traffic in here, and I think especially in the autumn, this place could look fantastic. And I'm still going to have to search it and work out that cliff wall over here. It's starting to get some nice light on it. So we'll play around in here for a little bit, and then I'll walk you through a composition if I can get one. All right. Okay, I've abandoned the waterfall for now because the light's too good on this cliff wall that I want to take a picture, and I found an interesting composition right here. I'll walk you through on the back of the camera, but basically I'm trying to frame up. There's this nice soft light down here at the base of the cliff wall, and then I've got this tree here, and I've got a fern down in my foreground that I'm using as a foreground subject. But it's just a nice little scene, and I'm working with angles to help guide your eye towards the subject in the back, which is cliff wall with the nice light. So I'll show you in the back of the camera what I'm talking about with the angles. Okay, so I've backed up a little bit. I think I'm gonna like this composition a little better. Obviously this is 16 by 9 crop on the camera, so it looks like it's cutting off that fern a little bit, but I've got it framed up something like this now, and I think I prefer this composition a little more just off the back of the camera. Again, I'll know when I get in Photoshop. I'm kind of having to play around with my ISO to get a shutter speed quick enough to kind of freeze the leaves in the foreground. I don't have to worry about in the background because those aren't moving. It's just down here in the valley closer to the waterfall. The waterfall is creating a lot of wind through here, so I'm having to make sure I'm cognizant of that. And I'm still using those leading lines, and I'm kind of framing it between these two trees. This tree's on the right, and I like the character of this tree. And as you can see, we got this soft light in this tree. There's a shadow being cast here, so there's some depth in this photo, kind of layered depth that I really like, and that's something I always kind of look for when I'm out here doing this. It's just a nice, neat scene, unexpected. I'll get back over to the waterfall in a little bit, I promise, and then we'll go from there. But there's some other compositions in here that I'm gonna try to take advantage of. Just a great area. Okay, loud down here, so I'm gonna walk you through this composition on the back of the camera real fast down here in the waterfall. I decided to come down here and get low even though the water's brown and see how it turn out, because I got some nice light on the waterfall now. So I'll walk you through on the back of the camera. Okay, so as you can see, the water is kind of creating this fog and mist around the waterfall, but I'm using the water as a leading line, just kind of bringing you in. It's quite nice. Using this little drop off here to kind of give you some interest in the foreground and then take you to it. It's quite large waterfall, but as you can see, there's some really nice light up here on the right. And as the sun starts to rise behind me, That'll probably only get nicer, and there'll probably be more fog in here. I'm not sure I'll get any kind of light rays. It's kind of intermittent clouds, so we'll see how this works out, and then I'll continue to kind of work down here to see if I can find something else interesting. I'll show you that picture now. Okay, it's going to do it for this week's video. Great opportunity for me to get up here and check this waterfall out. I've had my eye on it for a while. I've been doing some research and kind of found it, narrowed in where it potentially was, and found it. It's kind of tricky to get here. There's a gate you got to go through. That gate's to keep the wildlife, such as bears and deer and all that, out of the farmland at the base of this mountain range. So, like I said, it'll a place I'll be returned to in the autumn. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to talk you through a lot of composition because it was just so loud and kind of sketchy down there with all this rainfall. All this rainfall brought a lot of the sediment down off the mountain, and there's probably a landslide somewhere, like I talked about earlier. So the brown water just had to deal with it. It's what it is. I'm a couple hours from the house, so I'm up here. I'm going to take some photos of it. If anything, they're record shots, but I'll show you those images anyways, probably. But yeah, just another weekend to get out. I've had some time on my hands, so these videos have been a little more consistent. So I appreciate you following along. I ask you to please continue to follow along if you like the content. If you like the video, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.